Today I'm here with Christine Conti. Christine, hey, I have noticed that you have an interesting background. You were an investment banker and now you're in the fitness and wellness field, and you've even got a website that you run, FitFixNow, which deals with helping certified personal trainers get continuing education credits to maintain their certification. How did you go from being an investment banker to being in the fitness world?
Well, I was a Division I volleyball player growing up. So I come from a family of volleyball players with two older sisters who also played in college. So movement and athletics were always a huge part of my life. But I also had a mother who said, that's great that you do athletics, but you need to have a career. You need to be able to be independent and, and stand on your own, which I absolutely love. But movement was always a passion. And when I went to college, I actually finished an English and business degree, and I had extra time my senior year, and I took the anatomy and kinesiology of fitness. I took a lot of psychology. I took a lot of exercise science just because I loved it. And I wound up getting my personal trainer and Group X certification when I was 21. So, I just always had it. I always had that passion of, now I'm done playing sports, now what? I love working out. I love giving back. So I wound up, yes, I did go into investment banking because that's what I thought I was supposed to do. Be this big business woman and I quickly found out that was not, sitting behind a desk was not me. It wasn't me, it was someone else's dream. And I wound up going back to graduate school and getting a master's in leadership and education and you name it, so that I could teach, because I knew if I could teach, I could coach. And if I could coach, I could also personal train athletes and, kind of full circle. So I actually wound up going into I left banking, going into teaching so that I could be in the fitness realm. I know it kind of sounds, but I could help people, in the classroom, out of the classroom. And moving forward, I started going to conferences. I started being around fitness trailblazers and people that were influencers and just pulling the boat closer and closer to the dock. I turned 30. I got diagnosed with a disease that should have left me crippled. My grandmother was a quadriplegic because of the same disease. And I had a kind of a line in the sand moment of my life and said, you've got two choices in life, Christine, either do something or do nothing. And I chose to do something. And that was, I want to make sure that people know that fitness and wellness is something that can change your perspective. Instead of the poor me, it's like here's what I can do. Show me what you can do. Don't tell me about what you can't. And I figured I could be an inspiration to a lot of people who have been diagnosed with various diseases or have been told you can't. So that's when I really started saying, this is what I want. I want to go into the industry. I started studying with top exercise scientists and doctors and you name it, CDC and the Mayo Clinic, and did all the research and kind of became a chronic disease wellness specialist. And that's when I started writing courses and going out, and I actually resigned from teaching and have been kind of full-time LLC'd a bunch of my businesses and writing education. And that has always been my passion, which is why I think things line up in the world for a certain reason, that I always knew that there was something bigger. And FitFixNow, I've been working with this company for 6 years, writing education. And now I am the CEO of FitFixNow. So I actually get to go out in the world and find people that are the top of research, what is new, what's new in science, and bring them in. They write, continuing education credits. So, I promote, go to the conferences, go get certified, and then I'm a resource for you to keep learning and growing and keep your certifications up to date. So that is my role now with FitFixNow.
You said a couple of interesting things that rang true with me. I was also in a direction in my life where I was trained to be a scientist and realized I didn't want to spend the next 30 years in a lab. And so I took a different direction as well. And I was always interested in the health and fitness and wellness industry. And research shows even a little bit of physical activity can make profound differences in people's lives. But interesting. You said your grandmother was a quadriplegic and you had a similar issue, and you are not a quadriplegic. So that's, again, more proof that exercise is, I think, one of the best medicines that we have out there. Movement is as a medicine. You've made tremendous strides.
And I say I believe in Western medicine. There's a reason, I spent 10 years on and off chemo and things like that, but that was again, the line in the sand of what can I control? I can control my stress. I can control what I eat and how I move and my sleep. And these are things that, I wish I knew. I wish I had places and resources that were credible, that you're not just going, it used to be, right, you just Google things, but now it's ChatGPT, right? That's what it is now. It's like you just ask it. Well, where is that coming from? Is it from research? Are there articles? What do the studies say? And that's what I think is so important. I was an experiment of one. And, I had a doctor say to me, Christine, the second you stop moving, it's all over. That hit me hard when I was 30, because it's true. You look around, what happens when you stop moving? Your body breaks down, and that's what we're seeing in our society, right? If we don't have this knowledge, and all of us that go to these conferences and we need this knowledge, fitness professionals, I don't care if you're a fitness professional or not, you need to know this stuff, right? We need to move. Otherwise, our society is, a bunch of people getting older with a longer lifespan and a shorter health span. And I don't want that, do you?
No, not at all. You're absolutely correct. To quote someone in the government right now, America is very, very sick. I think your doctor said it well. If you stop moving, bad things happen. A body in motion stays in motion. A body at rest stays at rest. And if we rest long enough, we rest forever. So I think it's important that we all move more. Again, one of my favorite studies was even just 15 minutes of walking a day, every day, increased longevity, lifespan by 3 years, and reduced the risk of dying from everything significant. Men, women, whether they were sick or non-sick, reduced the risk. So again, it's more proof that we just got to move more. I think we have some big challenges ahead of us. We got to design neighborhoods better with sidewalks. There are neighborhoods around me that don't even have sidewalks.
Me too.
Which is insane. And more biking paths. I watched a video today about how they're converting old railroad tracks into cycling lanes. I think this is fantastic. I noticed on your website you had an interesting blog post on the power of kindness. And that's something that I've spoken about in personal training classes I've taught. And I've wondered if kindness was something that we may be lacking in this industry. What are some ways that trainers can show kindness and empathy towards their clients?
You're talking about mindset. You're talking about mental health right now. And what's interesting is that people think, oh, well, I've got to yell. You know what? That does work for some people. And you need to find out right away, what is their love language, right? What is their workout language is what I call it. And for some, it's, I want tough love. I want you to get in my face. And for others, and what I've learned and what is so huge is that people in the fitness industry, you know what everybody desires in life? Happiness, to feel good, to feel included. That is what every single person, I don't care what you're doing, that's what we crave. We crave love and being needed. Right. So are we showing that to our clients? And as I said, for some, they want to be yelled at, right? Like they want that. But I don't know, we've got what? Only 20% of the population is actually working out. And then out of that 20%, how many people really like to be yelled at and feel bad? It's very small. So for the most part, when you're working with someone, I think of you should set the tone, right? You should set a positive tone. When you see someone and they walk in, how are you doing today? Wrong question. Nope, you don't ask that question. Because you are opening up Pandora's box for them to say, oh, my back, my neck, my kid this, it's Eeyore, I lost my tail again. I don't want to hear that. It's, hey, welcome to class, welcome to your session. It is awesome to see you today. I am so happy you're here. You ready to get started? Yes. Is there anything new I should know about? There it is. And when you think about kindness, I just think of, are you setting an example? Are you setting the tone for something positive? You don't have to be like, oh, you look so great. You don't have to make up compliments. You don't have to fabricate kindness. Are you genuinely setting a positive tone? It's a kindness culture is what that is. And that lights up all of those positive things in your brain and your serotonin and your dopamine, and that's it. So sometimes we think of things as we overcomplicate something that is so simple.
I hear the "how you doing" all the time from people, and I know they don't care how I'm doing. And my go-to reply is, "I'm excellent." And I just leave it at that. And sometimes that surprises people because they're not used to hearing that. I think if you, like you said, rephrase things a little differently, welcome to class, so glad to see you. I think that goes a long way. People do want to be acknowledged. And it is, especially if we're dealing with like an older population, we have more people in America who are over the age of 85 than any other time in human history. And sometimes when you're dealing with somebody that old, you may be the only person they come in contact with. I often tell the story in class of my own grandmother who lived to 104. That woman remembered the Titanic sinking, but there's a double-edged sword. She's outliving everybody. And so, sometimes, you may be the only person someone of that age is coming in contact with. And that goes to not only kindness, but also social interaction. People who have better social context and live longer, have a better quality of life. So, yeah, I think we should practice more kindness and empathy with the clients, because everybody is going through something, whether they have a smile on their face or not. We're all dealing with something. We all have a cross to bear. One of the things that trainers have mentioned to me over the years is, all right, I'm certified, and I get a job at a gym, and they give me this shirt that says trainer or staff, and they freeze because for the first time in their life, they're on display. We usually go through life, unless you're a celebrity, pretty anonymous. Most people don't pay attention to you. You put that shirt on in a gym and everybody's watching you, whether you're aware of it or not. So for that trainer who is watching us right now, whether it's a group fitness instructor, a personal trainer, or maybe even somebody who works at the front desk at a gym, what are some things that they can implement or think about that may overcome that fear of, oh my goodness, people know who I am all of a sudden?
So fear is one of my favorite things to talk about in the whole world, whether it's at companies or trainers or wherever I speak. My book is Split Second Courage. And the undertone is, what if fear was the key to your dreams? That's number one. What's your relationship with fear? Why are you fearful? What's going on? And number one is preparation. I've interviewed thousands of people over the years in podcasting and whatnot. And one of the things that the most, I would say successful, in business and whatever you want to say, is preparation. Every single one of them is like, I never walked into a meeting. I never walked into a session unprepared. That is the number one key. The more unprepared you are for anything, the more fear that is going to erupt. And I think fear is great. There's, two different types of stress, right? You've got your stress, you've got your eustress and your distress. EU. I used to teach English, right? It's roots, Latin roots. EU is good, right? Eustress is good. Your adrenaline's up and you're like, oh, I'm kind of nervous. It's why I race. I get to any starting line. I've raced a bazillion times and I still get nervous. I still have a little fear. That's good stress. You prepared, but you're still like, the fear that I think you're thinking of is like, am I prepared? And going back, do you have a certification? Have you studied? Do you know your anatomy and your, kinesiology, your movement, your muscles? Have you, looked at not just, I think it's important, I would never hire a trainer that does not have a basic certification. Period. I said it. Okay, I would never hire a group fitness person who doesn't have a basic certification, because that's your foundation. Yeah. That's your foundation. Then go to conferences, go take additional certifications. If you're working with clients who are 85 or older, how many classes have you taken that deal with arthritis, that deal with comorbidities, that deal with obesity, that deal with injuries, hip replacements? You don't give an 85-year-old man with arthritis and a pacemaker to a brand new trainer who is like, I've only ever done this thing where my clients only, they bench and they squat and they lat pull down and what do I do with them? That's where the fear, I think, comes in. And my big, obviously, I'm biased on education. Like, get educated. We have so many resources. I mean, between AAAI, what you offer to people. And again, I don't do certifications. This is like, FitFixNow is like, hey, you need some, I like to say, you need some extra information. Do you need a fit fix? Do you need it now? Like, it's, but that's the thing. It's not just us. There's a lot out there. We all work together with different organizations to help you overcome the fear of working with fill in the blank. And, I don't know if you know, I work a lot with athletes who have Down syndrome, that have autism, that have various, neurodivergent issues. And what do I do to overcome that? I learn. I spend a lot of time with them and their families, and I do a lot of reading and research, and that's how it started. Because I was a little fearful at first. Like, I don't have a lot of experience, but it's that education. What are you doing? So I hope that answers a little bit of your question, but I'm totally education biased.
The more we know, the more people we can help. I think that anyway, whether you're cracking a book or you listen to a podcast, I'm constantly listening to podcasts. If I'm on the treadmill at a gym, I'm listening to a podcast. I'm trying to stuff as much information in my head as I possibly can. And sometimes I think I need more RAM up here to maintain it all. But you can't go wrong with education. So,
and to your point, like a lot of new trainers, right? You're in your 20s. You don't have 20 years of experience with different people. Right. And that's okay. Yes. And, and we're here to support you through not only education, but watch the people, I know that it's weird kind of coming full circle, but what I do now are the people that I gravitated to when I was in my 20s. The people on stage, the people that were in the industry, the people that were at all the conferences, that owned the companies. And, I see how important it was, how good they were to me to answer questions and to mentor and to reaching out is what I always say to people. I'm like, so many people helped me. Show up, say hi, be around the people that you want to be like, that you want to emulate. Ask them. Be a part of it. Raise your hand. It's scary. I still do things that scare me all the time. It's okay. But you face it. That's how you're going to grow. So again,
you're absolutely right. Take a step and see what happens, and just jump into it and learn from other people and watch other people. I'm still using things that I learned from people over 20 years ago. I watch them and I'm like, "Ooh, that's a great thing. I'm going to appropriate that and make that mine." So you can't say enough for staying educated. Christine, this has been a great conversation. I really appreciate your time. Is there anything you want to leave us with? Any words of wisdom?
I want you to make sure that whatever it is that you are doing, right, that you are enjoying what you do, right? You have the ability to not just change lives, but to save lives. That is something we don't always realize in the fitness and wellness profession. People need you. And Joe, you said before, sometimes you are the only person that they are talking to about things. And that is, it goes so much farther than that session that you have. So again, being there, asking questions, how can I help you? You're doing awesome. People at the end of the day, they just want to feel good. So if someone walks in and the only thing you did with them that day was talk to them, that counts.
It does. Christine, I appreciate your time. Thank you very much.